After watching the Dell Curry video 25 times and trying not to cry, we try to talk about it again today without crying. Dell Curry going to have his jersey retired in the rafters of Spectrum Center. What does it mean to the fan base? What does it mean to the team? Plus, I guess we'll talk a little basketball today on Locked On Hornets.
You are Locked On Hornets, your daily Charlotte Hornets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
In a minute, cuz we live.
It's Locked On Hornets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Thanks for making us your first listen. We're free. We're available anywhere you get your podcast, and that includes YouTube. There's Doug Branson, everyhornetsboxscore.com. Go check out his Substack. Also, go check out Yahoo Sports Daily. It's hosted by Jason Fitz and Caroline Fenton. Doug is somewhere in the background making sure everything is up and running, but trust me, he's back there. I'm Walker Mail. Listen to me, WFNZ, every weekday from 12 to 3 p.m. Sports Radio 92.7 FM. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. Doug, I legitimately think it's the best video I've ever seen in my life, and I don't think that's an exaggeration. Wow. Number one, the 2-minute snippet that they put up there, a part of the longer video that you can go check out. Hornets PR, I believe, tweeted it out. Hornets Reddit, of course, has it. Shams Charania also had the story on ESPN.com that the Charlotte Hornets are retiring Dell Curry's number 30 jersey in the home arena rafters March 19th against the Orlando Magic. So before we get into the accolades and all of it, I just want to say, watching the video where Dell Curry, it looks like all a ruse. The Hornets, sly bastards you. What they did was they put Dell Curry and Eric Collins right there, kind of close to midcourt off to the side where we broadcast for FanDuel. And it looked like they set it up as just your run-of-the-mill, maybe for some other special reason, interview. And then on the Jumbotron, the screen underneath the big 4 screens that surround the 2 smaller ones underneath the Jumbotron, there Dell sees the one very cool DC-30 logo. If there's a pin, I got to have it. I got to have something with that logo on
it. Even.
Oh, no doubt. Something. I need the logo on my body somehow, some way. But very cool logo. And, of course, they're celebrating. And that's when Dell Curry realizes that his jersey is only going to be the second jersey ever to be hung in the rafters at Spectrum Center. The late, the great Bobby Phills has his jersey up in the rafters. Dell Curry going to have his jersey retired. Nobody will be wearing number 30. His jersey will be honored for the rest of time as long as the Charlotte Hornets exist. Doug, really just the video, Eric Collins revealing that to him, Dell trying to figure out what's going on at the very beginning of it, saying, what? Like, it you can see it all in his brain as he's processing it. He starts to tear up. Eric Collins, those two guys, just, I think everybody knows this, but in case you don't know, they're not just colleagues, they're legitimately very good friends. So this is one very good friend revealing to the other, it's going to happen, partner. Oh my God, Doug, it's going to happen, partner. I mean, damn, I'm trying to hold it in right now, and I'm not even really kidding all that much. Whoo, buddy, God, that video got me. Really, really cool moment for what I believe to be the best Charlotte Hornets ambassador of all time. I stand 10 toes down on that. I believe it. And I think that's a lot of the reason as to why he's having his jersey retired.
Best for sure. One of the only also. I mean, this franchise has not had many ambassadors, and a lot of that is because of the better players, particularly in that 90s era of Charlotte Hornets basketball, were not huge fans of the franchise after they left. A lot of that had to do with George Shinn and the way they did leave. But Dell Curry, it wasn't that way with him. And I came into this with a lot more thoughts than I thought I would have. I wrote down 4 of them, and then as you were talking, I wrote down 2 more. One of them is that they do make a hat, I want it, and also you still owe me a Summer League Championship T-shirt. Just want to get that
have
out.
it. I just haven't sent it out. It is in my possession.
They make boxes. You can put them in. There are people that will come to your house sometimes, or you could. Anyway, all right. We'll talk about it later. Let's keep the focus where it needs to be, which is on Dell Curry. And I agree with you that part of what made that video special, and honestly, like, I'm thrilled. It's about time. Like, I'm thrilled that Dell Curry is getting this honor. He should have had it a long time ago. But I think what makes that video, it takes it up a level, is the relationship that we've all come to understand and be a part of, as much as one can be a part of something, watching it from home, of Dell Curry and Eric Collins. And so seeing the look on Eric's face and then seeing the reaction from Dell to totally send it to another level. It was great. It was great male friendship on display.
Oh my God. It's crazy. Yeah, you're totally right about all of it.
And I wonder too, just judging by his reaction, Dell's reaction, if Dell had come to terms with the idea that he might not ever get this honor. Because I think there is this weird stigma, and this is not the first time you and I have talked about this on the show, but there's a weird stigma, particularly with franchises that haven't won anything, which is like, oh, we can't retire a jersey because that is reserved for surefire Hall of Famers or people that have won championships. You know, you look at the players that the Celtics have retired and the Lakers and all of these storied franchises. That's for the storied franchise. We can't do that until we do something, which I think is absolutely 100% grade A poppycock. You absolutely should, for the health of your fan base and your franchise and engagement, celebrate. If you're not winning, celebrate some wins. It's been 35 years, for God's sake. That argument may fly the first 15 years, the first 20 years, but 35 years now nearing 40, for God's sake, do something to honor the past beyond these silly jerseys, the 5 nostalgic jerseys that you release every year. Thank goodness it's about time that they retired Dell Curry's jersey, because he is one of the few ambassadors of this team, great ambassadors, and the father, literally and figuratively, of the movement, the three-point movement that has taken over the NBA. So honestly, the NBA should consider retiring Dell Curry's number.
It is so funny that it is not inaccurate at all to say literally he is the father.
Well, I thought about this earlier. Fact. I said he is the father, and I went, oh yeah, he's actually the father.
No, what we mean is he's the biological father of the shooting movement that has infiltrated the NBA and has been a part of the association for quite some time. So I do want to get into the accolades. This is going to bleed into the second segment. I think it calls for it. The Hornets are retiring a jersey for the first time ever based off of what we've seen from a player, what he meant in the uniform, and what he's meant to the franchise not wearing the uniform.
Hey, I've only gotten to 3 of them. I've got 6 total thoughts. I've only gotten to 3 of them. I'm only halfway there.
He said he had 4, folks, before we hopped on the mic. And again, he just said he had 2 more now. So he's got 3 more to get to. I imagine we'll get to about 10 before the show is over. I have a bunch of them myself, so I can only hate so much. But I do mean that, in that Dell Curry is the best ambassador that the Charlotte Hornets franchise has ever seen. If you think about it, Dell Curry has been Hornets relevant since the inception of the franchise. He has been Hornets relevant since 1988 when he was taken in the expansion draft. And all he did was become one of the best shooters in the NBA. He won 6th Man of the Year, so there is some hardware that we can speak of. No, he doesn't have all the All-Star appearances. No, he doesn't have the MVP award, but he does have hardware. I don't want to act like this is just some novelty because of how much he means personally to the community. We got some chops here. He is a good basketball player, and that should not go unrecognized. So we can take that a part of the equation here too. But going back 40 years, this man has meant something to the franchise. And since 2009, he's been a Hornets commentator with legends. One, Steve Martin, being the partner to him as a legendary play-by-play announcer. And now, how crazy is it that we have another legend that takes over that role in Eric Collins, and those two have become so damn good at this. They are the best in the league, but because they are the reason as to why you believe chemistry is important in that role. Because you could bring together a couple of different great broadcasters, and they might do a nice job, but those two remind you, chemistry, relationships, that matters when it comes to this business, and they've done an excellent job. The question I ask for people that are detractors of retiring Dell Curry's number because he doesn't reach the basketball accolades that some of the other retired jerseys have.
Go fly a kite.
Career.
That's what I say.
Yeah, make sure there's a key on it in a rainstorm. Go do that while you're flying that kite, by the way. But if you are a detractor to this, what I would say is let's, one, get off of whatever retired jersey high horse that you have, and let's think about it. What does Dell Curry mean to the fan base? My answer is close to everything. I don't want to exaggerate this so it minimizes what the actual accomplishment is here. Like, all right, Walker, let's not go overboard. But Dell in the city of Charlotte walks around and says what's up to everybody that sees him. You see him cool as the rule, like as smooth as it gets, embraces anybody that comes up to him and says what's up. Same thing with Muggsy, by the way. God, those two both are just phenomenal ambassadors of the organization. But who is this for? Who are you putting the jersey in the Raptors for? Is it for Adam Silver? No. It's not for David Stern. It's not for the opposing fans that come to Spectrum Center. It's for the fans that come to the Spectrum Center and cheer the Hornets every single night. And do they want Dell Curry's jersey in the rafters? Yes. Doug, we've been doing this for a while. You've had this podcast before I hopped on. I've been doing this for almost, not 7 years now. It's been a long time. I feel like we have a pretty good pulse of Hornets Nation. They care about this. And if they want it and it's deserved, then it's about damn time. And shout out to Rick Schnall and Gabe Plotkin for doing it. Excellent move on their part within the first couple of years of them owning the team, for them to have a relationship with former greats and then use that as a conduit to speak to the fans. Great move all around. And I've just got all sorts of goosebumps and great feelings because of this.
Okay, hold on now. Don't steal my points.
Sorry.
I've got to get to some of those. Let me just wrap the first part of this by saying this. If you pulled a random person off the street, not in Charlotte, North Carolina, but in, somewhere in Iowa, and you said, Charlotte Hornets, familiar? NBA team? Yes, I'm familiar. Who do you think of when you think of the Charlotte Hornets? They will not say Dell Curry. They will say Muggsy Bogues, maybe, because of the novelty of and how they may say Larry Johnson because of Grandmama. They will not say Dell Curry. So to me, to your point, this was for the fan base. This is a jersey retirement for the sickos. Dell Curry means something to Charlotte Hornets fans, and I think that makes it even more special.
Let's talk more about it. Coming up next on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
Bees everywhere!
How many more thoughts do you have on this, Doug?
2.5 now. You sort of touched on one of them, so I'll piggyback on that when we get to the next segment.
There you go. He has 2.5. I probably will have something else to say off of the heels of Doug's 2.5 takes. So find out what they are next. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel. Even Dell Curry is so connected to the show that this episode is brought to you by FanDuel. It's beautiful stuff. Fridays already feel different during basketball season, and FanDuel is making them even better. Every Friday night before the games tip off, FanDuel gives fans a new way to kick off the weekend with NBA Happy Hour. NBA Happy Hour is your official pregame and limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app before the action starts. Fridays from 6 to 7:30 Eastern have become appointment viewing with NBA Happy Hour. Opening the FanDuel app during Happy Hour always brings something new, boosts, bonuses, and surprises. It's easy to check the weekly special before tip-off and make a move before the window closes. The timing is perfect, right before the games, right before the weekend starts. So before tip-off, check the FanDuel app, see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 Eastern. A little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That's the NBA Happy Hour, only on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. More Locked On Hornets ahead. Now's a good time to remind you of the Everydayers Club. Thank you for making Locked On Hornets your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. If you haven't already, go check out our new Everydayers Club. Access to an ad-free audio feed for Locked On Hornets, compatible with Apple Podcasts, Spotify, every other major podcast app out there. And you get an invite to the members-only Locked On Everydayer Club Discord server, which includes a group chat just for listeners of this show. Go to lockedonhornets.supercast.com. That's lockedonhornets.supercast.com to join the Everydayers Club. 2.5 takes more on the Dell Curry jersey retirement. What you got?
All right, so here's the half take, which is piggybacking off of something you said in the first segment. Good on Gabe Plotkin and Rick Schnall, the governors, double governors, Schlotkin, if you will, for doing this. It was such an easy win, and I'm so glad they took it. I didn't know. I was skeptical if they would. I've been very anti-nostalgia plays as we careen towards 10 years since this team made a playoff appearance, much less, and now almost 25 years since a playoff series victory. I've been anti-nostalgia plays, jerseys, whatever. It's why when they did the cell things, I think when they did you know what I'm talking about? When they put the cells, the little beehive cells with the names on them. I was like,
not honeycomb, because honeycomb is bees and the Hornets don't produce honeycomb. It's cells.
It was all silly to me. And that might have started my rage against the nostalgia machine right there. To me, this doesn't fall into that category because it's something, a higher honor, one, and two, it's just as much about what he's done post-playing career, post-90s, than it is about anything. I love that aspect of it. And it makes me wonder, like, why didn't Michael Jordan take this easy win when he had the opportunity to? I just don't, this seems like something they could have done and chose not to. And I wonder if it is some of the bias towards, we have to, if we're going to lift it to the rafters, we got to win something first. But the franchise needed a win so desperately towards the end of his tenure here. And it's just baffling to me why they didn't take the win.
100%. I don't even know if MJ cared, to be fair. And I think he cared about winning more than he cared about nostalgia. But I don't even mean that as a joke, to be honest with you, as fun as it may be. I really don't know how much he cared about the fan base's opinions on former Hornets greats, because everything we know about MJ's mindset, it's, I'm not going to give out participation trophies, which he might deem this. We don't, but MJ might, because of the way that his brain is wired, because he's won 6 championships. The Hornets have never been to a conference finals. We can't reward this city in any way, shape, or form until we actually earn something.
No, hold on, stop. No, his philosophy was, we cannot reward this city. Stop the sentence right there. He could not reward this city with anything.
In that way, he was a good owner for a while. Anyways.
Except for the philanthropic stuff, which we've talked a lot about. I'm talking about basketball. He could not reward.
Matters. Yeah,
he couldn't reward the city with any basketball-related things. Here's another thing. Pretty much guarantees Kemba gets his, right? I mean, you can't retire Dell Curry and not. It would be weird. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. It would be weird to do this for Dell and not do it for the guy who is one above him in nearly all of the record books for the franchise.
So maybe we have, I don't care if you don't care. We just have a whole show almost about the Dell Curry jersey retirement, to be honest with you.
This is our sweet spot.
It really is. Top 35 Hornets list of all time, Doug. I'm bringing it out. We revamped it. We revamped it in 2023. We did the list once upon a time. It was the top 30. Then we celebrated the 35th anniversary. I gave you the top 35 list. If you go to the OG guards, right? That's the section that I have Dell Curry. Let's talk this out, because I think for a jersey retirement, we can start to amend this list if we want to. I had him 6th, which seems way too low now, given the way that we're discussing the jersey retirement. And so this is where we start to be a little bit more loosey-goosey with the list, because I have always said he is the best ambassador. That's been my take on Dell, right? In terms of representing Hornets DNA, Dell Curry is the poster child of that. That is who Dell is. I think he represents the organization better than anybody else before and has represented the organization better than anybody after. How much does the broadcasting career play a part in this list? Because it plays a large part in the team honoring him, right? If he isn't a broadcaster since 2009, do we speak about him in the same very way, where he's so much in the public eye? When you watch the Charlotte Hornets on your television screen, you see Dell. The first voice you hear is the play-by-play announcer in Eric, and the second voice you hear is Dell Curry anytime you watch the Charlotte Hornets tip off for a basketball game. That matters, and that's been true since Steve Martin was play-by-play, and it's been true since Eric Collins has been play-by-play. But I didn't necessarily bring that into the fold when I was ranking the players on that top 35 list. It almost was separate. It's almost like how we measure Panthers players all time. Sam Mills is just in a completely different category because of what he means to the mantra of keep pounding. But on the field, you have guys that have accomplished more. What do we do with Dell is what I would ask you, because 6 seems entirely too low with the way that we're talking about him. But I'm also approaching this list in a very different way than I did, I guess, 2-3 years ago now.
There aren't many announcers, though. there aren't many ambassador roles for people. So honestly, I think it would be unfair to the other 34 people on the list to take that too highly into consideration. I think it would make for a less fun list. I think you were fair, and I wouldn't really amend that except to put Mashburn a little bit higher. I think you had him like 49th or something ridiculous. Yeah. I don't understand what you were doing there. So I'm good with that. Here's the thing.
Okay.
If you think it's a participation trophy, whatever. Here's what I would tell you. He's Mr. Hornet. You won't argue with that. He's Mr. Hornet. And when you're Mr. Team, you should honor that. And honestly, like people, younger fans who are coming up and learning about the history of the franchise, they should know Mr. Hornet's jersey is in the rafters. Because if it's not, it's like, why is that not happening? It's such an odd omission and has been for a while that I'm glad we've just taken care of it. And I think Kemba's next. Do you want my final thought on this?
I do, please.
Do they make an exception if Steph Curry would like to come and play in Charlotte to end his career?
Yeah, they do. No doubt.
With Dell's blessing, right? He says it's okay. One person on the planet, there's one person remaining on the planet. It's not Seth Curry. He's already done it. It's one person left on the planet who can wear the number 30 on the Charlotte Hornets. It's fine. We'll make an exception for Steph.
Now, the real conversation is, how good are these genes? How long lasting are these genetics? Is there an expiration date, or does it transcend through multiple generations? Do we have grandchildren here, Doug? That's the other conversation to have. Steph Curry, do we have kids of Steph or Seth or Seidel, I believe? Do we have more offspring to consider? Because we already know that he is the literal biological father of the shooting movement, having infiltrated the NBA. Do we make room? Do we allow whoever that Curry is to wear number 30 50 years from now?
It becomes like a king's line, it's like a lineage, right?
That's right.
It's like, yeah, that's right. That's the only people you have to have some kind of blood test. And it's like, all right, yes, for sure. We have figured it out. You are of the Curry line. You may wear the number 30, but that's it. Everybody else out of here. Doesn't matter how good you are.
I'm changing the list. Dell Curry's moving up. We can do it today. We can amend the list.
Breaking news. I didn't know we were going to do breaking news on the show.
No, Glenn Rice, you're no longer a top 5 Hornet. You weren't there long enough. I don't know what I was thinking back in the day. Glenn Rice, you are moving down the list. Dell Curry, you are moving up. I know it is the same exact honor that you felt when you found out that you were going to have your jersey retired, but you're moving up the list. You're in the top 5. Congratulations.
Hey,
coming up next, go ahead.
Well, just really quickly, like, staying somewhere matters. Like, being loyal to an organization matters. He to a certain extent, he chose this. He's like, I'm going to. So yeah, like that should matter, particularly to a smaller city relative to the larger markets. It should matter to a fan base that hasn't had a lot of playoff success. You should laud this. You should cheer this. Somebody staying, and then the way this was presented was beautiful, and not like they could have done this in a weird way. It wasn't weird at all. It was beautiful. So yeah, just kudos all around.
Yeah, I mean, the social media team, the Hornets putting this together, especially with that 2-minute clip. I mean, it's almost like the officials, in that we don't talk about the officials unless you make this great mistake. It's not quite to that level, but a lot of times the social media team, social media accounts will only get clowned. They'll never get praised. That should not be the case here. They should be commended all the way. It should be amplified, all of your praise. It should be effusive in the way that they dished this out to the people in a way that would resonate with such a close fan base. They got Steph in there. They got Eric Collins being the one to reveal it to him. They did it on the floor. Like, it's just incredibly well done.
Had Steph Curry, FaceTime.
Great
stuff.
No doubt.
So one more thing, and I want to kind of tie all this together and lift it up. I said it was an easy win by this organization, but I also made the point that it was an easy win that the organization did not, prior to Schlotkin, did not take the opportunity to do. To me, that's becoming a theme for this organization, top down. Like, easy win, gather a lot of draft picks. Easy win, actually use those draft picks and use them well, and take player when you have an inexperienced team. Use your second round picks to bring in experienced talent that can contribute right away. These are easy wins that this organization is finally taking, and it's resulting in some better, not perfect West Coast basketball right now, but some better West Coast basketball.
I don't apologize. I have more Dell thoughts coming up next on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
I was trying to segue. I'm sorry, folks.
Nah, you don't.
He's everywhere!
I am a bull that you cannot contain. I am going to another Dell Curry take. Where does he rank now? Now that we're amending the list, the conversation, the way I want to frame
You're
it,
amending it. I'm not amending
I know.
it.
I'm amending it. I look, I'm the keeper of the list. You got your beer list. That's fine. You have your Substack. You are the keeper of the Sicko Satchel. This is my list. I'm going to change it. But really the conversation, the way I want to frame it is, who could you not argue that Dell Curry is better than? Like who is on that list? Because I think that's interesting. We'll get to that coming up next, LOH. This episode is brought to you by Wayfair. The new year is here, and it's the perfect time to reset your routine and refresh your space. If you're spending more time at home, you might as well love how it looks and feels. That's why you should turn to Wayfair. It's a one-stop shop for getting your home back on track. From bedding and mattresses to storage solutions for every room, Wayfair makes it easy to start the year fresh. Wayfair has everything you need for a full home refresh, all in one place, whether you're updating your living room, organizing your space, or upgrading your work from home setup. Wayfair's huge selection makes it easy to find exactly what works for your style and budget, and you can pick up new bedding, accent pillows from Wayfair. They have plenty of stuff. It completely changed how many people's bedroom feels to them. It's cleaner, it's calmer, it's more put together. And I'll tell you, I got a sectional from Wayfair and it's beautiful, and they dropped it off and it was easy to set up and it's comfortable, and I've had it for quite some time now. I appreciate Wayfair for providing me those opportunities. Get organized, refreshed, and back on track this new year for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's Wayfair, wayfair.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. This episode is also brought to you by ZocDoc. Guys, it's 2025. I'm sorry. It's 2026, okay? It's the very beginning of 2026. And those days of waiting for something to become a full-blown emergency before you see a doctor, they're over. No more walking it off for 6 months. No more pretending that weird shoulder stiffness is just sleeping on it wrong. It's time to take your health seriously, and ZocDoc makes that easier than ever. Because staying healthy is more than hitting the gym or eating right. It's about actually getting things checked out when something feels off. Using ZocDoc makes scheduling easier. You can search for in-network doctors and book the right doctor in the app. Real appointment times are listed as well, including same-day visits. And you get no more back-and-forth phone calls or waiting weeks to be seen. You can be seen quicker than ever. So stop putting off your doctor's appointments and get the care you need. Go to ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc. ZocDoc.com, ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA, ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA. More Locked On Hornets ahead. All right, let's go back to the list. So if I had Dell Curry number 6, and I just said I'm moving him up to number 5, it's done. I'm not changing it. So Dell Curry is in the top 5.
Okay.
The name, I think there's only one name that most people couldn't put him above, Doug. And I think you already brought the name up, and I think that's Kemba. If we were to really have an argument, debate this, go back and forth on where Dell Curry should be, I think you can make a reasonable argument for Dell over Muggsy Bogues. I think you could make a reasonable argument for Dell over Alonzo Mourning. And I think the toughest one, but also one that you can make, I think you can make a reasonable argument for Dell over Larry Johnson. And maybe not even all that tough, because he did spend time with the New York Knicks. He had his moment where he hits the three, gets to the finals with the New York Knicks. Zoe had his moments with Miami. You had Muggsy Bogues only have moments with the Hornets. Same thing with Dell. So I think that matters. Individual success, how many points you scored, the stats that you put up. Dell Curry, certainly with shooting and scoring, you would put him above Muggsy. But also Muggsy is a great ambassador. Both of those guys, man. Muggsy's in the video. Both of those guys kind of went hand in hand for majority, if not all of their career, and they're legitimately very good friends to this day. In the video, Dell Curry says, he says, "What's up, little man?" I think he says something like that.
Yeah.
Like, very cool, very nostalgic. I think Kemba's the only one that most people would stop and say, I don't know. I think I got to leave Kemba up there. But even then, Dell Curry had more team success. It's just how much do you want to lay at the feet of Kemba? And remember, it was a little bit touch and go with Kemba at the beginning of his Charlotte tenure. So I don't know, man. Like, where do we stop? Could you make the argument that Dell just should be number one on the list? I think there is a case to be made there.
No, I can't. I can't because you and I might look at this list differently. If I were to put together the list, I would take into account how much Muggsy and Larry and Zoe to a certain extent, although he was less sort of media out front, and Dell, how much all of that matters to the grand scheme of what it means to be a Charlotte Hornets fan. You have to factor that stuff in. But ultimately, it would be a part, and I would also take into account what did their actual basketball playing do to lift the franchise to whatever success, what little success we have enjoyed, how much did it contribute to that? And I would just look at Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning and Kemba Walker and say that their talent, just as basketball talent, did more to get them to certain points. And Kemba, I think Kemba has some. I think you also have to take into account some sort of structural impediments that were laid at the feet of Kemba Walker. Like he didn't have. Dell had Zoe. Dell had Larry. There were no Larry, Zoe, and just in that counterpoint, Larry and Zoe had Dell coming off the bench, firing 3-pointers, giving them an advantage that not a lot of teams had during that time.
Any spacing, they needed spacing, right? Like it's kind of funny because we understand that it means more now, but my God, you just needed some spacing, and Dell was there to provide it.
Yeah. So ultimately, I would land. I think I'm fine if you want to put him over Muggsy, because I don't think that Muggsy achieved that level. I mean, he was dishing a lot of assists, but I don't think he achieved that sort of talent level that could have single-handedly shifted the team forward. I do feel that way about Kemba, about LJ, about Zoe, and then you get into this tier of players that meant tremendous amounts to the idea of being a Charlotte Hornets fan and cheering for the team, but just as a singular talent, less than those players.
Let's put a bow on it with the record mentions just to let everybody know where he ranks. He's number one in games played at 701. Muggsy Bogues is second with 632. Miles Bridges, the active player that's closest, he's fifth on the list at 463. Dell Curry is third in minutes played behind Kemba and Muggsy. Dell is second in field goals made, field goal attempts. He's first in 2-point field goals made. How about that? Would have gotten that way wrong. Dell Curry, first in 2-point field goals ever made, second in attempts. 3-pointers, both made and attempts. Dell Curry, he's second in made. He's fourth in attempts. We know, volume, much more voluminous, if you will, this day and age. Dell Curry, second in field goal attempts missed. Just kind of goes to show you just how long he played. Some other interesting one, he's the all-time leading fouler for the Hornets. Kind of hilarious there. I wouldn't have expected that either, but he's number one.
Well, the way he talks about his
too.
Defense on the broadcast, I think it's, I would. It wouldn't have shocked me. I don't know if I would have thought about it in that way, but it doesn't shock me.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's a good point. He's 10th on assists. So I know, again, he played a long time, which helps him here, but he is 10th on the assist list. And then we'll just go ahead and end with what I think is the biggest one. He's second on the all-time franchise scoring list. We know about the moment when Kemba passed him. Kemba's now at 12,009. Dell Curry was at 9,839. We know the moment. It's one of the best moments in Hornets history when Kemba is able to pass him in the fourth quarter of that Cleveland Cavaliers game. So those are all the accolades that are attached to Dell Curry in the record books.
We often, when we put those lists together, we often have the longevity versus the short sprints, but magnificent talent and great things that we see in that short sprint. And how do we judge those things? I think Miles Bridges will be an interesting conversation in the future for a lot of reasons, but for one of the reasons would be that he is going to set a lot of these longevity records, or at least be up there in the top 5 of a lot of these records. Just the sheer volume, not even the years, but because he stayed healthy, the sheer volume of games that he played. But the Hornets didn't win anything during that time. The thing that's different about Dell is that he did all of that and the Hornets won. And he was part of playoff series winning teams that were relevant. It's not even that the Hornets haven't won anything, it's that they haven't even been relevant during the time that Miles has been here. And it's a little bit of a hit on Kemba's record too, but Kemba achieved so many great things and so many great moments that I think it lifts him above the situation that he was put in. But always an interesting conversation.
Okay. Let's put a bow on the episode. We will mention something else other than Dell, but Hornets at Lakers, that's tomorrow night. We're recording this on January 14th, Wednesday, around 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 Central. But we will see them play the Lakers after staying in LA a couple of days. I did the solo episode, Doug. Hornets go Hollywood. We've seen everybody take care of their LA media obligations. Kon Knueppel is going to be back on the Bill Simmons podcast, so those two are going to go at it once more. We saw Brandon Miller on ESPN, and we've seen Ryan Kalkbrenner on Run It Back. So they're going Hollywood. They got one more game in LA before they continue this West Coast road trip. And the Hornets 7-8 in their last 15. So trying to keep on this 500 pace. Anything you're looking out for in that game against the Lakers that you wanted to break down before we get to, I guess, the real preview tomorrow?
It always catches me off guard whenever I see a Charlotte Hornet being featured on any kind of show ever. And then I was like, man, they're doing a lot of media. And then I go, oh yeah, because they're in LA where all the media is.
But also
which is
because they're playing, right. But again, they're giving them reasons to talk about them.
But you have to have the second, exactly. That was my point. Like you have to have the second thing, which is actually being a relevant team. And their offense right now is making them relevant enough to talk about whenever they're coming up on these shows. Now, if you take a deeper dive, they're also improving defensively, and you have to lay a lot of that at the feet of Charles Lee. But their improvements offensively, I think, are a little bit Lee and a lot of bit health. These guys actually getting a chance to play with one another, and this starting unit that is just scorching folks with Moussa Diabate at center and all of the rest of the players that you would assume would be in the starting lineup. So yes, I did want to put the Hornets-Lakers stuff in here because the people have complained a little bit that our previewing is coming a little too close to game time sometimes. So I just wanted to give people a little bit of a treat. I would say with the Lakers, you've got to attack them from the wing. You've got to get into the paint. That's where they've been vulnerable. They now I think I don't know if they have a game before this. But they've lost 3 straight heading into this game. And a lot of that has been teams attacking them from the wing, athletic wings that can get by their lax defense on the perimeter and get into the paint. And I would say for the Hornets, it's all going to be about doing that and then finding shooters who can then knock it down. You know, some of what let them down against the Clippers, a lot of that game to me was about size, but some of it was about shooting. The shooting did not cover adequately the sins that this team has sort of pre-built in, which are, size, really.
Yeah. They did beat the Hawks the last time out. They stopped the bleeding on the 3-game losing streak.
Sorry.
But no, you're good. That 3-game losing streak included a 12-point loss to the Kings. Not very good. Just to let you know, this is not some insurmountable team that they're playing with the Lakers, having lost 3 straight before they ended that with a win against the Hawks. They did score 140 points against Atlanta, but Atlanta's defense has been stinky, very, very stinky for quite some time. So offensively, yeah, it's going to be tough to stop those guys. But with this Hornets team, it's match them bucket for bucket, right? I don't know how many stops you're going to be able to get against this Lakers squad, but offensively, this game's going to be played in the 120s, in my opinion.
I think Miles Bridges needs to have a great game. I think a 7-assist game. If he scores, he scores. But honestly, I think he needs to be a playmaker in this game. Get through the first line of the defense, and then find Kon, find Brandon, find LaMelo. I really think he needs to have his playmaking hat on. And it could be an audition for Miles Bridges. He's come up as a name for the Lakers and a possible swap that seems destined to include Dalton Connect somehow, maybe Rui. I don't know. But his name is coming up in these conversations.
Yeah, by the way, offensive wrinkles, just so we mentioned something here via that bullet point, NBA University put out a tweet of the most efficient roll men in the NBA, and this was with a 50 possession minimum. So if you've been the roll man, the screener, 50 times, then you qualify for this stat. Kon Knueppel is the most efficient roll man in terms of points per possession. He's at 1.48, which is above Chet Holmgren, who was second at 1.45. Kon Knueppel is first. Moussa Diabate is ninth on this list. And what wasn't mentioned by NBA University is that Miles Bridges is 13th because they only gave us the 10 on NBA University. But how about the Hornets having 3 top 13 guys in most efficient screeners in the league in terms of points per possession? That's pretty crazy. So you have Kon and then you have Miles as the only non-bigs in the top 13 in the league, which goes to show you an interesting offensive wrinkle that Charles Lee is going to, with Kon setting the screens for LaMelo, Miles and Moussa both setting the screens for LaMelo. Colin, Trey, when he's in, has run a lot of pick and roll. Just a really interesting thing there where you have the first 2 non-bigs on the list. They both played for the Hornets. Really cool stuff there.
You just opened up a can of worms. I have like 6 thoughts on that too. I don't want to share them all now. Maybe we bring this stat back up tomorrow, along with your questions.
Okay.
If you've got questions, join subtext.com/locked on Hornets, 7-day free trial if you haven't joined before. So if you've got a question, you can join for free. Submit it there into the Sicko Satchel. We should get to some questions. But I want to dig into that because I think that's a fun number.
Let's do it.
But it's actually meaningful to the changes that Charles Lee has made and the players that are playing right now, particularly in that starting lineup. So let's dig into it tomorrow.
That'll do it for a Dell Curry episode. He deserved it. It's Locked On Hornets. Thanks for making us your first listen. We are free and available anywhere you get your pods, and that includes YouTube. Go check out everyhornetsboxscore.com. That's Doug's Substack. Also, go check out Yahoo Sports Daily. He's producing that show, hosted by Jason Fitz and Caroline Fenton. And I'm Walker Mail. Listen to me, WFNZ, every weekday from 12 to 3 p.m. Have a great rest of your day. We'll be back with you tomorrow. I'm going to go watch that video again.
DC for 3.